Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Career Talk event. The event is organized by Bangladesh Student Association at the University of Saskatchewan. So today we have 5 speakers in total. The speakers will be talking in different perspective of our career, and the audience can ask any kind of questions based on your career at the end of every talk. And some talk will be two-way discussion. Like you can ask speakers will be asking you some questions, and you can ask your question as well, and it will be a discussion. Our first speaker is Mr. Shamim Mamun. Mr. Shamim Mamun will be talking on becoming an entrepreneur and starting the first company while doing a full-time job. Mr. Shamim Al Mamun graduated from University of Saskatchewan in mechanical engineering. Currently, he is working as a senior project manager in mining industry. He is a registered professional engineer, project management professional, and certified cost professional. He is also one of the shareholders and CEO of Impulsion Investment Corporation. He has a vast knowledge of project management, procurement and contract administration, communication and risk management experience in FEED, engineering design, construction, communicating, and startup phase of major projects. Please welcome Shamim Al Mamun.
Thanks so much, Can everybody hear me in the back? Okay. Okay, Sherry, I probably don't need the middle one. Okay, fair enough. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shamim Mamun. So several weeks ago, when Sharia called me one night and told me whether I'd be interested to give a speech in front of the people like you guys, and I was really excited, and I said, yes, why not? And after being chatting for 5 minutes, I was thinking, okay, what should I talk about, Sharia? And he told me, you can talk about your career if you want. And then later on, he told me, why don't you just talk about your business? You started a new business doing a full-time job, so it's definitely going to be challenging for you, right? So because you were maintaining the full-time jobs and doing a part-time job. And I actually paused for a while and said, uh-huh. And I definitely said, yes, that's why I'm here to give the speech. So the title of my speech is Becoming an Entrepreneur and Starting the First-Time Company While Doing a Full-Time Job. And Amin Bhai already mentioned about my name and credential, plus I'm the CEO of the Impulsion Investment Corporation. So let me just go back up a little bit. So I came here in 2009 in Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, to do my master's in mechanical engineering. I graduated from University of Saskatchewan in 2011 and started working for a mining company called Cameco. And I worked there for 3.5 years. And then I joined another company called Static Consultancy Company, and I've been working there for senior project management. And when I was actually back there, and back then, when I was a student, I realized that in Canadian culture, education is good. But with education, you need the credential plus other extracurricular activities. So for that, I started going to different organizations, like professional organizations like Apex, PMI, and ACE, and I started building my network talking with the people. And that's pretty much it. I'll definitely cover the, my current role and stuff in the different, next slide. But let me talk with the future. And my future right now is kind of questionable for the time being. You know why? Because it totally depends on how Impulsion is going to do in 5 years or 10 years. If Impulsion is successful, I'm probably not going to do the job. I'll probably quit my job and start doing the full-time entrepreneurship. Okay. So this is my present role, project management. So this is actually a lot of stuff going on, but I'm not going to cover each and every line. But in a nutshell, what I do, I set up a project, I plan the project, I execute the project, I monitor the project, and I close out the project. And it could be different from different project. Right now, I'm covering the mining project for the time being. So what I do exactly, like I interact with different disciplines, like engineering, construction, procurement, and finance, and clients, and subcontractor, definitely our senior management. So depending on the clients, so it could be weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. So I actually report to the client or the senior management how the projects are doing. Like it's budget-wise, cost-wise, whether it's within schedule or out of schedule, or how the quality of the project. So I just want to mention about a few things to focus on. This is what I have learned throughout my career right now. So first thing is the career, planning. Whatever you're going to do in 5 years, 10 years, plan it right now. How you actually see yourself in 1 year, right? So if you think that you're going to be engineer, try to associate with the Apex. Try to build your network based on who actually working in the Apex, who is actually doing good job. And if you think that you will be in the project management, try to associate with the PMI. If you are in HR, if you're accounting, just find out what associates are working are in Saskatoon. Just try to reach out to them. It doesn't hurt to ask, right? So what the worst could be happen, right? They will say no, right? But it is your responsibility to go out there and check out with the people. And start professional networking. It's actually linked to the first one, like when you're planning, go out. Let me just tell a little bit story. Just 1 second. So when I was actually a student, and you know what happens, we go to Tim Hortons and chit chat with our friends. So I was doing that one in one night, and in the side table, some gentleman was talking about potash, mining, design, and all the stuff. And it was pretty intriguing back then. And so I was just talking and chatting with my friends. Should I actually approach that guy and just see that whether he has any kind of opportunity for the future or vacancy or anything? And I hesitated a little bit. And at the end, I actually went there and talked with him. Hi, sir, can I talk to you for a sec? My name is this and blah, blah, blah. And I'll be graduating soon. Like, keep me in touch, keep me in mind if you have any kind of opportunity. And can I have your business card? That's pretty much it. And you didn't believe that I was P, like I was persistent and pushy all the time. I kept in touch with that guy, and I ended up going to his house. I didn't stalk him, by the way, but I ended up going to his house, and I got the first job in Cameco through that reference. So, and the second job, you didn't even believe. I didn't have to go through the interview. I just sat in a restaurant, and I had to negotiate only the price, how much salary I'm going to get. The third one is improve communication skill. We all are immigrant here, right? So English is not our first language, first of all, right? So wherever you get a chance, try to improve your communication skill. It could be as simple as like, just try to read 20 minutes a day. Try to read out loud, right? What's going to happen, right? So when you read out loud, you can hear yourself. And if you have any kind of pronunciation or anything, you can correct it by yourself. So I do it all the time. And effective listening. Listening is another important thing. Sometimes we take it for granted. We think that listening, why the hell we should actually learn listening? Because it is very important, right? Sometimes when people is talking to us, we just hear the word they're talking to us, not exactly the meaning of the word, right? So you prepare yourself, like you have to put yourself in their shoes and try to understand the meaning they're trying to say, right? So that in that case, you're actually learning effective listening, right? Because the word you are hearing and you are thinking, where do you agree? Where do I disagree? What exactly I'm saying in response? The focus is actually on you, not the people who is actually talking to you. But in effective listening, the focus is actually the person who is talking to you. Public speaking could be another one. Like in professional life, you have to give a lot of presentations. If you go to the senior management and stuff, but if you have any kind of anxiety or anything, which is normal, everybody can be nervous, that's totally okay. Just try Toastmaster. In Toastmaster in Saskatoon is a very good club. Like just go there and see there is no obligation. You can just observe the people who is talking. Don't get any pressurized or anything. They wouldn't tell you to come in the stage and give a speech. You can just go and see how people talk. Skills, computer skills. We pretty much know all about the computer skill, but typing skill is very important, right? Like what is the average typing skill per minute? I guess 65 words or something like that. But you didn't believe how many emails you'll be writing in your professional life, probably hundreds and hundreds, and that could actually save you time if you have like good typing skill. and report writing and Microsoft Office suite. Try to learn like Excel, PowerPoint, and Word. That will definitely help you in a long run. Challenge yourself. That's a very exciting one, right? So how many times it happens? Like we get bored, right? So we think that okay, we are not feeling uncomfortable. We are not seeking any kind of discomfort, right? Because we're probably not actually improving ourselves at all. We are actually back there. In 5 years ago, we are sitting back there. So we are not seeing any changes to us. So try to do one habit every day, right? It could be like, run for 20 minutes. Like I said, it could be 20 minutes reading. So if you actually make yourself do the thing, so you are actually boosting up your willing power, right? So if you create the habits, it's boosting up your willing power. And in the 2019, January, you don't need any resolution to actually set up yourself. You can just say, okay, from today, I can do that work. And you can actually do that work because you have the willing power to do that work. You don't need any kind of resolution to do any work. And the last but not the least is the emotional intelligence. That's one of the most important thing for a leader. So this actually differentiates between leader and manager. So if you think about that one, like the manager usually have like very high technical skill, but it doesn't have or very little amount of emotional intelligence skill. But leader, other hand, has a high level of emotional intelligence skill. So some of them are self-awareness. What exactly it means, like when you are actually angry, when you are nervous, when you think that you are not confident. So knowing yourself that you are angry is called self-awareness. If you don't know that one, that is blind spot. If you have a good friend or family member, they can actually point to that one for you. They're a good friend. Take that as a constructive feedback. Don't be offensive, be offended because of that one, because they're trying to help you out. And if you know, like managing emotions, right? So if you know if you are self-awareness, if you know your emotion, you can actually control that one. Because you can talk to yourself, right now I'm angry. Right? I have to calm myself down by doing that one. It could be just go and eat something, right? So you could feel better, right? Motivate yourself. It varies from person to person. Some people like to eat. If they're eating well, they're motivating by themselves. Like I like to run. I like to go to gym. So that's how I actually motivate myself. And empathy, so the most important one, empathy and sympathy. Sometimes people actually get mixed these two things, but this is actually two different things, actually totally opposite direction. So let me just give you an example. For example, Amin Bhai is telling me he's actually struggling with his study or his current job, right? So as empathetic reply would be, like, I feel your pain, I had the same issue with my previous job, is there anything I can do to make you feel better? That is empathetic reply. And at the second hand, the sympathetic reply would be, at least you have a job, man, why you are complaining? So this is just difference between the sympathy and empathy. Okay, now come to the triple I. Sorry. So forming the triple I, as usual, you start with the Tim Horton. We are chatting, a couple of friends, now they are partner, that why can't we actually buy a house just and rent it out? Okay, this is a good idea. Is there anything we can do? We can make a company and do that one. So the right people on the bus. So before we actually target to do that one, we decided, okay, who gonna be our partner, business partner? This is very important because no matter what you do, right? If you play soccer, if you play whatever, make sure that you have the right people in your team. Otherwise, that might cause a lot of problem. You're probably gonna be fail, right? So that's why I thought that, okay, we know like 8 people we have, we are family friends, we understand each other, and we are trustworthy, we can, make ourselves accountable, and what else? We have the drive and passion. So we thought, okay, why not that 8 people gonna be in the company and we form a company? And we had registered our company as Impulsion Investment Incorporations. Sorry about the small font. This is just for the, kind of FYI. And not intend to actually explain each and everything. So this is actually our organization chart. So I'm the CEO. I have 7 directors, and each of them are responsible for different kind of discipline: business development, finance, like HR administration, definitely R&D, research and development, IT, and import and export. Okay, the first step of the company. Now that we build a company, we have the company, but we don't have any money in our pocket, right? So we're thinking, so how to actually, gather the money and do something. So because if you have any, chunk of money, you can do whatever the hell you want, right? So we thought that, okay, why not do a monthly contribution? Like do a monthly contribution, whatever X, Y, Z amount. And once we have this, sufficient amount of money, we can buy our first house. time commitment. You don't know, all of us have full-time job, right? So being a full-time job plus our family and doing a part-time job is very, very challenging. So, but in spite of that one, we thought that, okay, we'll be giving enough time during the evening time or during the weekend time to do whatever task we'll have to do. Accountability and ownership, definitely all of us have that one. So initially we focused on phase 1, residential houses. So that actually how the company built, right? So we thought that, okay, we'll buy a house and rent it out. And second is like commercial, right? Restaurant, it could be commercial property. We'll be just buying and renting it out. Okay, so literally in the background, this is our first project. This is our first house. We bought that one and currently renting it out. So lesson learned from this project, we understood that this is huge capital required to do any kind of residential project. Plus long-term investment plus rate of return, ROR is very low. So we actually learned that one. Just to give an example, if the house is $500,000, you are paying 20% down payment, that's $100,000 locked for your house. And we don't have that much money, right? So we had to change our strategy a little bit. And in the second step, what we did, we focused on IT because we have two amazing IT persons, so why don't we actually use our IT resources and focus on IT? So we started building our website called impulsioninvestment.com, and we're thinking how could we actually provide the IT service with a cost-effective manner. And so we started to talk with the client, and we actually think about some in-kind work. What exactly that means, in-kind work to the nonprofit company, that whatever labor we're going to give by ourselves, we're not going to charge for that one. We only charge the third-party expenses, for example, domain cost or hosting cost on price. While we're doing that one, we actually set up our in-home software to manage and doing our projects. So currently we're using this software, in-home proprietary software, to managing our expenses, our revenue, plus our IT project, plus our import-export project. Everything is doing it in this project, rather than using Excel sheet. So this is our first IT project, building an e-commerce for High-Tech. High-Tech is a renowned gram-traded company in Saskatoon. They have 3 or 4 stores currently. So our scope of work is to build their e-commerce plus bringing their inventory as an integrated system plus their POS system. So lesson learned from here, like we learned that, okay, it is pretty easy to get the work, right? But delivering the work is very challenging sometimes, because when we got the work, we weren't even ready to do any kind of work. So we had to pick up the phone and call our friends, family, whoever is doing IT project. And at the end of the day, we managed to do that one, but it's something to keep in mind. And the client are not always on the top of the things, right? So as expert, we had to, step forward and help them to take the decisions because they're relying on us. And show them the broader picture, right? So today they probably can think about something with they probably don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So we, as expert, we actually help them to see that light. Third step is import-export. Definitely, you probably realize we say yes to anything. We do have the can-do, we can figure it out attitude, right? So even though we are not probably doing today, probably tomorrow, we probably start doing that one because we can do, right? And as mentioned, PNP, persistence and push, depends on the client variety. If some of the client like to be persistent, so you have to be careful. You can't just push some of the client, they might be offended. So you have to figure it out by the nature of the client to who you're going to persistently push, or be persistent or be pushy. Sorry about that. And we tried, or we actually planning to do import-export because we have the expert agent and partner, and they have been doing it for decades and decades and decades, 30, 40 years, and they have been doing it for their livelihood. It's not that they're doing as a part-time. So we are using that kind of agent from a foreign country to bring construction material down here. So we're trying to cut the middleman. So there wouldn't be any middleman. From the China, the manufacturer will bring the product down to the door of our distributor or wholesaler down here. And we wanted to make sure, because in Canadian culture, QC, the people who's actually working in the construction company or mining company, they know that QC, quality control and assurance, is very important. They are ready to pay a little bit premium, but they want to make sure the quality of the product is good. So in order to make that one, we have actually physical agent back in the foreign country to check all the material before it gets shipped. And timeline is another important thing. That how many weeks is needed, because it's actually literally other side of the world. So we have to make sure that whatever time we promise is actually getting delivered by that time. So a few things we make sure, because we have full-time job, and so definitely there is some work ethics related. We can't just do our business work during our work time. So we make sure that we have a transparent communication with our current employer. So I personally talked to my boss that he knows that I have a business, I manage a business. So I told him that during my lunchtime, I might pick up a call or I might go to visit client. I might do that one, and he's totally fine with that. And test our idea like crazy, because as a startup company, we have different ideas. Every day there's ideas coming together, right? But we actually don't execute all of them. We try to do go, no-go strategy, right? So some of the things we think whether it's feasible or not. And so for example, one of the example is the break-even analysis for a container of shipment, right? So we did an analysis whether it's feasible, like how much container or square feet of construction material has to be shipped each and every month to make sure we are not actually losing money, we're actually making money. So all kind of those analysis has done before actually take any kind of decision we take. Network like crazy, that's very important. Wherever you get a chance, just even elevator talk, just be out there and talk with the people. Like I mentioned, it doesn't hurt, right, to ask, right, what the worst thing could be happen. They will say no. And make our nights and weekend count. So usually we have a weekly status meeting each and every Tuesday or Wednesday, depends on the availability, but it happens three hours every day, every week, right? So we have to make sure that we are giving that time to make sure that whoever is working on the task is actually progressing the task, not just sitting there and procrastinating. And hold ourselves accountable, definitely. At the end of the day, it's all our money. We are not taking any investor for the time being, so we have to make sure that we are holding ourselves accountable, because at the end of the day, if we don't do that, we're going to lose our own money. Next step would be like office space. Currently, we're looking for an office space with a warehouse for our IE office, and we're definitely looking for hiring some office manager. And always look for new opportunities. Like if you guys have any kind of opportunity, definitely just give us a shout. We'll definitely look into it. And leave our job. Like I mentioned, our future is questionable. This is why our future is questionable. Depends how III is doing, right? If III is flying from today, like we're probably going to end up quitting our job and do the business full time. So this is just in a summary, like what is actually the benefit and the challenging we're having. Like I probably covered everything, but this is in just couple notes, like a skill set from the work we are using in the business and vice versa, right? For example, the business development activities, I don't have to do it in my job currently. So what I'm learning today is you can put a price tag on that. When I'm going to the client, giving the presentation, making sure that everything is fine, and trying to sell my own business. This is business development. I don't do it as a part of my current job. Networking and contacts, we're using it vice versa. The network we built so far from our job, we are using it for business and vice versa. The challenge is the most thing is the time constraint. Like if you look at the 3 points, each of them are related to time. We don't have enough time. Like work-life balance, we have full-time job, part-time, family. We have to make sure that we're actually balancing our life. Others, we don't want to make sure that we're actually giving too much time to the work or the business or the family. Shortage of time is related to the top one, not giving 100%. We kind of feel like, we realize that, okay, we are not giving 100% to our business, right? If we could do more time or provide more time, we could do better. We realize that. So this is definitely one of the challenges we have. So before I go to the question and answer, so I just want to wrap this one with a actually little story. Like in the evening in the summertime, a mother and the child or the son is sitting on the porch and having some food, and suddenly the son said, "Mom, I know you love me very much." And the mom was a little bit surprised and stunned and replied, "Son, of course I love you so much. Why did you ask? Did you doubt it?" And the son said in reply, "No, I know you love me very much, because whenever I want to talk to you about something, you stop whatever you're doing and just listen to me." Thank you so much for listening to me, guys. You are a very amazing audience. Thank you so much. You can have any questions, so just go easy on me. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Like before starting a business, like we need some kind of registration or some kind of government procedure. So what are the procedures we have to go through before starting any kind of business?
Good question. So Amin's question was like, there's definitely some procedure before starting a company, like any kind of registration in the government, or so whether we actually, or what kind of procedure we have followed. So definitely you can go through Saskatchewan business, so you have to register your company, even what kind of business you will be doing. We already did that one. So you have to apply who is your director, shareholder, and each and every shareholder, how many percentage of share each and every director are having. So you have to put that one on, sign it off, and send it out, and they'll review the application and send you the RT number, that's the registration number. On that note, as we have import-export, so we have to mention that what kind of business we'll be doing, like construction, like professional service, and you have to mention all of them, and then you will get the license. Actually, we'll get the registration license. It's pretty easy, it's simple, straightforward.
How long it might take, and how much cost do we have to carry, like, for that?
The cost is probably, I have my finance guys is that sitting back there anyway, but it's probably $200 or $150. But it takes probably a month to wrap this one up, but we had to revise due to some business strategy change. So it took almost 2 months, I would say. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no
Any other questions from audience?
I don't need my. So you are having a nice job, but what made you start a new company?
Like I mentioned that, like I'm bored. So I feel like I'm not being challenged enough, right? So in job, definitely I'm doing good job, and I think what exactly I'm gonna do when I have enough time, right? So what do you do after 8 to 5 job? Like you spend with the family. My wife is working too, so rather than watching TV and YouTube and go somewhere else, that's why you guys probably don't see me pretty often, because I'm doing some other stuff. So I try to utilize my time and do something productive. So that's why I'm just doing it, right? So it's kind of fun, it's challenging to me. Like I said, the BD activity is one, business development. I'm learning a lot, traveling a lot of places. I've never been there, like native area and all the stuff, just for the purpose of business, right? Driving there, right? So it's fun.
Anyone else?
I guess that is it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shamim and Mamun, and we have a big clap for him. Thank you.
Thanks so much.